What's up, world? This is chapter 17. I'm gonna call this one A Bay Bay. A Bay Bay. A Bay Bay. Hurricane Chris. And the reason I'm calling it that is because I'm in the Bay Area. I'm on the West Coast, and I'm still adjusting to this West Coast. I'm not from here, I'm from the East Coast, so every day I'm still transitioning to the lifestyle, the people, the habits, and it's completely different. On the West Coast, everything is much more slower, much more pace, you know, and it's not New York City, so you have to adapt quickly, and you have more time out here, so you have to be valuable in the sense of where you chop your time up wisely. So yeah, but I like it out here. Yeah, so first, I'm going to start off with the people. I realized that, you know, the West Coast is more sensitive as far as how you communicate. In New York, we're just brutal with each other. We just talk crazy to each other, and we don't think before we speak. But on the West Coast, it's more political, so you have to think before you speak. And that told me a lot. It told me to be more caring when dealing with others and actually be empathetic. So I feel like I've grown in that area a lot. Now I'm a little bit more observant. You know, I slowed down because I had to. There's no racing out here. Everything out here is one step at a time. So I like that. You know? Out here you just breathe. The air is better too. It does get humid and it gets hot, but there's a lot of green and you know, agriculture. There's more space, there's more land, and they pay more. That's one thing I like about the West Coast, and that's why I made that huge step from the East Coast to the West, because I knew that they paid more. So, you know, I'm definitely benefiting. Yeah, see, in San Francisco, they got trains on the street. I would show y'all the street, but we're gonna focus on me. So, yeah, like, you know, they got the trolleys and trains on the street. See, in New York, we used to seeing trains above us or underground, so it's different. Like, you're driving on the road and there's a train car that just pulls up on the side of you. You know, it's crazy. It's definitely lively in that way. Oh, here comes the food.
Oh, shit.
Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'll be right back.
So you got the same thing out there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, still more coming.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
I know this is syrup.
Yeah.
Or is it maple syrup? I like maple syrup.
You can always ask them. Ask them when she comes back. So yeah, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of distractions in this one. Oh yeah, I know where I'm gonna start. reason I came to the West Coast is because I had an opportunity to be a correction officer. I was gonna follow in the footsteps of my mother and a couple other family members that went down that route. But halfway through the process, they rejected my application, and it's crazy because they accepted me, and then halfway through my background check, because of a job that I worked for, or actually the fact that I had multiple jobs. I had over 20 jobs on my resume, and they wondered why I had so many jobs. I don't know. I don't know anybody that just stuck with one career their entire life. So, yeah, that was hard to deal with, coming all the way from the East Coast and then getting denied an opportunity when it was in motion. I had hopes, and I had high regards for that situation because it was a career. So that didn't work out, and I had to figure out other opportunities and alternatives. So from that point, I just jumped into security.
Can we get sit in here? Of course you can.
Yeah, so I got into security. I have a background in security, so I'm like, why not? So I was doing asset protection at Ross for a little while, and they actually supplied me with my security guard license for free. I didn't have to come out of pocket. And then from that point, I started applying for private, security companies, and I landed myself in a situation where I work 6 days a week, and I get paid well over a good amount. I'm not gonna disclose how much I make. I'm gonna keep that private, but I make a lot of money. I make a lot of money. So, yeah, I get paid weekly and bi-weekly because I work 2 jobs. So, I went through a lot of ups and downs though, going from job to job, and I'm in a better situation now. And like I said, from the video before the last one, I moved into a new apartment that's in the city, not too far from where I'm at now.
Of course. You enjoy?
Thank you. And I actually walked from my crib to the spot that I'm at now, at this restaurant. So, it feels good to be in the city. City vibes, everything is convenient, it's local, I don't have to waste gas. And like I said, I have a new apartment now, and I also have a new car. And I'm gonna show you guys that car at some point too. So my life has been upgraded since I've been here. So I know that I belong here as far as the West Coast. I don't know if I'm gonna stay in San Francisco per se, but I definitely like the vibes. Everybody's chill. Everybody's calm. Everybody's creative. Like, this is a creative space. Everybody here is trying to do something positive with their lives. And I like that. Everybody in New York is like this. Everybody got to put on a mean mug. Everybody got to put on the front. Out here it's not like that. Everybody's walking and smiles. Everybody's cheesy. And I'm trying to adjust to that because I'm not used to that. So, it's helped me become more open. I appreciate that. I'm unlocking levels of myself being here. But I still feel that where I'm at is going to be temporary because I always want more. I always want something that's better. And this is definitely good. I'm in the right direction. I'm taking the right path. So, so now I want to get back to my alleged father. When I first went to his house, I came with gifts. I drove all the way there from Connecticut in my Jeep, and I came there with gifts. I bought him a sword, and when I was making money, fashion that I was making money, I even gave him, something illicit as far as, something you could smoke on, because that's what I was doing. So I gave him a little something to hold him down while I was there, just being a genuine person. And it's like, it should have been the opposite. I'm coming there with gifts, but what did he give me? He should have gave me a lot showing up. He could have said, hey, Shabourne, I know you're driving all the way from Connecticut to North Carolina. Hey, I'll pay for your gas money. Hey, I'll pay for your room and board. Hey, see, like, he could have just helped me out in that way, but he didn't. But, I hooked him up a little bit, and I also built a relationship with one of his daughters, and, we were getting tight, we were getting cool, and she made an assumption that I was interested in her in another way, and I felt bad about that, because it's like you're defaming me, if that makes sense. Like you're just putting my name in a negative light, and that wasn't my mind process. See, like, I show my sister love, like, the only sister that I had, I always show her love. I was always there for her, and I was just open like that. But they were more reserved, and they didn't show each other love. I noticed that, like, being in that household, I didn't see any love there. Everybody was really zoned out to themselves, isolated. So it's like they're not used to how I was raised. My mother, she was always a giver, somebody that loved with open arms. She didn't care who you were. So I walked in his house with that energy, and she took it the wrong way, because his double standard, right? They would ask me to come visit again. They would ask, oh, yo, when are you gonna come back? And I said, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out life. So with that being said, I'm like, I'm busy, but you can come out here and see me. But they interpreted that as me trying to fuck with her in another way. But see, that's the double standard. The girl can ask, oh, when are you gonna come see me? Or when are you gonna come see us? But if I say, when are you gonna come see me? You're gonna look at it in a sexual manner, and that's not the case. But that lets me know that they're on some dog time, you see what I'm saying? That lets me know where your mind is in a dark place. And it makes sense, and
I don't think you good.
You're good. So that just let me know, like, their mind is in the gutter. They shit in the trenches. You see what I'm saying? They live in a nice area, but their mind is in a dark place. So I'm like, okay. So I can't be real with y'all. I can't be open. I can't be friendly. I gotta look at y'all the same way I would look at my counterparts when I was in the street. So, and that's messed up. And she has the same birthday as somebody that I was real tight with when I was younger. So I'm like, okay, maybe we can have that relationship, But that wasn't the case. It wasn't the case. I thought maybe we could be that duo, Because I'm like, you a little bit older than me. Maybe you could teach me something. Maybe I could teach you something, because I've done a lot as far as creating my own business. And we was on business time, as far as creating things. But I guess she just looked at me as a piece of meat. That's what I explained to my family. I feel like all of them just look at me as flesh. They didn't really care about who I was. They was like, oh, well, he might be family, but that's it. They didn't really care to get to know me. So, and once again, my father, if he is my father, during that scenario, me meeting him, he asked me a dumbass question. He asked me, something crazy, like, when I first encountered, this man asked me, would you ever sell your soul? That's what he asked me. I don't even know you. And nobody in my family ever asked me that. And I mean, he's a blunt guy, but damn, once again, that even shows that he probably has, an allegiance to something that I don't know about. And if you watch my video, Sister, I explain that he does have ties to an organization, which I'm not gonna reveal. But yeah, it's like, why would you ask me something like that? I can't sell my soul. Like, you know, it's not mine. So, you know, I can't sell it. I'm just here living the experience. I'm doing what I gotta do. I'm living, you know, the experience that I'm supposed to live. So, like I said, you know, those people are negative, you know, and it's not only him. My sisters have just dark energy. That's if they're my family or whatever. So I'm like, all right, man, you know, and I realized I was just giving. I was just giving and giving and giving and feeding into that energy as far as being a positive outlet. But I never got anything back. And I realized every time I talked to him, it was always like 2 or 3 steps back. So, yeah, everything is fine. So I'm like, every time I talked to him, I would lose track. But every time I decided, I'm like, I'm not gonna fuck with him, I'm not gonna deal with him, my life got better. You know? And then I don't know what it is, you know, I'm a Sagittarius. And I feel like I get along with everybody, like, you know, we're a mutable sign. But every time I have an encounter with a Capricorn, they become my nemesis, they become my enemy. Like my mother's ex-husband, he was a Capricorn too. And we was always beefing. He would always want to fight me and start problems. And I'm like, damn, I hope it's not like that with the new situation if this guy's my father. And he just kept showing multiple ways why he wasn't there. And he even told me, he said, look, yo, the same way you found me, your mother could have found me. That's crazy. How dare you say something like that? You was the one going from base to base, location to location around the world, and my mother was supposed to find you. That's an arrogant thing to say. So, you know, that's the reason why he wasn't in my life. You know? And I'm happy that he wasn't. You know, and I never want to see you niggas again. Ever. You know, I'll never go to your house. Oh yeah, you even take me upstairs. If I'm your son, once again, I don't know if I'm your son or not. And then when I was there, you supposed to come downstairs. If y'all go watch the video, it's a short where I say, I thought I found my blood father. If y'all watch that video, y'all see him at the top of his stoop, and I'm at the bottom walking up the hill. He's supposed to come downstairs humbly and say, yo, son, I'm happy to see you. I didn't get that. He was just surprised I showed up. He couldn't believe it. But even with that state of shock, I understand that. But that's still not an excuse. And he could have brought me upstairs and be like, yo, son, I want you to see my room. He didn't have to show me my sister's room. That's their shit. But his shit, he's supposed to be like, yo, I want you to see how I'm living. I'm letting you see downstairs, but I'm gonna bring you upstairs. I want you to see. On the first day, that's supposed to happen. That's supposed to happen. Because if I was a father, and once again, if I was a coward, even a cowardly father, if I was a coward and my son came to me, I'd be like, yo, nah, come upstairs. I want you to see this whole house. I'm gonna give you a tour. You know? But, you know, he's a shady individual. And, you know, like I said, that's some coward shit. So, like I said, I never want to go back. I never will go back. And I never want to see him because I don't trust him. And once again, y'all know how I feel about people that I can't trust. If I feel like I can't trust you, you can't be around my circumference. You can't be in my radius. You can't be around nothing. Because I'm be like, damn, you're a threat to my establishment. If you're a threat to my establishment, you know what I'm going to do. So, and that's the, you know, nicest way I could put it. So to stay clear of me, I'm going to stay clear of you. You don't got to worry about me. I don't got to worry about you. And I'm going to live my life. I'm a grown man, like you said, right? So that's how you feel. You feel like you can't really teach me nothing because I've done everything on my own. And I guess that's what it is. You know, I guess I was naive to think that I can rekindle a relationship with somebody that's never been in my life. But as I'm getting more mature, I'm realizing that everybody from my past is in my past for a reason. And then he's even my past, even though I never met him and then I got to meet him, he's my past. So now I just got to create my legacy. I got to create my dynasty. So that's what that's going to be, you know? And that'll be it. I don't have nothing else to say about that subject. Now I'm just going to enjoy my food, you know? I'm enjoying this weather. It's beautiful. It's getting hot. with that being said, there's gonna be more content. I'm gonna be doing more vlogs. You know, I'm still finishing up my story mode, but I'm gonna be doing more vlogs, more content, me being outside, and then my album is gonna be coming out in either September or October. And you know, I have music videos that's gonna be coming out. But yeah, this is the real deal. It's the real world. That's the name of the album, and you know, it's a real story. Nothing is fabricated. All of this is authentic. All of this is real. So, yeah. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna enjoy mine. Peace out.